Hello viewers, you are once again welcome to my YouTube channel where we discuss English as second language users. We are going into a trend of discussion as from today. That discussion has to do with a continuation of what we have been doing in the past, in our effort to master the pronunciation of English without struggle. We want to start by looking at words whose spellings end in letter CT when they are restructured morphologically to realize a new word by adding S to them. Now, what end in letter CT usually have the phoneme ka and ta at the end. And when we add a new letter to them, sometimes they prove difficult at pronunciation. So we want to see some of these words and how we can resolve pronunciation problem when a new letter is added to them morphologically. Let's take the following examples, for instance. In the word construct. So this is an instance of words whose spelling end in letter CT. When the morpheme S is added to the word construct, what you have there becomes a cluster of consonants that prove difficult to pronounce. Let's look at how this can be pronounced if we do not remove anything there. So what you have here is constructs. Constructs. Can you attempt pronouncing it? Try to pronounce it. Constructs. You will agree with me that it is not easy. Now look at this. Here you will observe that the phoneme represented by this letter T is missing between these two consonants. And so what you have here is constructs. Constructs. Can you attempt pronouncing this and this to see the difference between the two? Constructs. All right? Constructs. 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 You will agree with me that this version of it is easier to be pronounced than struggling to realize these three. Where the problem lies is here. The phoneme represented by this letter T is the cause of problem here because the three consonants occurring together here is not easy to pronounce in a stream of speech. And so you have constructs. Let's look at another example. Let's consider the word fact. 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 So, with letter S added to the spelling, what you have will require pronunciation of that same pattern. So, what you have here is fact. How easy is it to pronounce it? This same pattern is what occurs here because the word ends in letter CT, and so when you add S to it, you now find it difficult to pronounce the cluster that is here. So it is better to pronounce it this way, facts, without struggling. Facts, facts, facts. Let's consider more examples. Look at the word restrict. Restrict. With letter S added to it, you always have the phonemes occurring in that environment. And so the streaks will give you something like this. Which definitely will prove difficulty at pronunciation. So the solution, as usual, is this. Restricts, restricts, restricts. You agree with me that trying to pronounce restricts with realization of these three phonemes will make your articulatory effort difficult. You will find it heavy and stiff to pronounce. So that is why the rule is that you remove the sound that is represented by letter T, take it away, go ahead and speak your English without struggle. Restricts, restricts. Let's look at one more example before we round off. Let's consider the word instruct. Instruct. Definitely, this word also ends in letter CT. Instruct. So now having S added to it, it gives you instructs. Let's look at how easy it is if we remove the sound represented by the letter T, we'll take it away from there. So you have instructs, instructs, instructs. So in one word, in the spoken English, all the letters that are present in the spelling are not necessary in many situations. So in word ending in letter CT, for instance, here you have a pattern that should be adopted. If a word ending in letter CT has a letter S added to it, you don't need to insist on realizing the sound ta, which is represented by letter T in the spelling. The substance of written English is not always correspondent with the substance in the spoken English. So when you find words ending in letter CT in the spelling and letter S is added to it, as a result of which you have a cluster of this at the final position, you don't need to insist on pronouncing the sound represented by the letter T in this environment. So this makes your spoken English smoother and easier if you know these principles and apply them in all situations. Words ending in letter CT, when you have letter S added to it, require removal of the sound represented by the letter T at the final position. Thank you for being part of us. We shall meet in the next series. God bless you.